I invite Thomas to the podium, who is there, to give a speech here.
We never said that we oppose a white Jesus because Jesus was factually not white. Well, we said that having a white Jesus strengthens racist narratives, makes it harder to bring people into the Catholic or Christian faith, and strengthens colonial narratives within developing countries. None of these points were ever dealt with in her speech, which I find very, very strange. But I'll go into the rebuttal of what she did actually say. She said that there's no, true interpretation of religion. That's completely arbitrary, right? This isn't true. The Catholic Church has official doctrine, and members of the Catholic Church follow and believe in that doctrine, right? That's why if the Catholic Church does not support, or that's why if the Catholic Church supports a notion of a white Jesus, or if a certain church supports a notion of a white Jesus, its followers are far more likely to buy into that notion and believe that Jesus was white and think that Jesus was white. But if these institutions change that, which is our policy, right? We think that religious institutions should endogenously change these depictions of Jesus. It's far more likely that these harmful narratives that Yuki brought you won't happen. And they'll have a more inclusive faith, a more inclusive Christianity, right? Because she wanted to protect diversity, right? She was talking about religious diversity, religious freedom, right? And then she said that race helps people identify with the religion, right? Why do you only allow white males to identify with Jesus if racial and gender identities are so important in bringing people into the faith? You deny that right to everyone on planet Earth who is not a white male, right? If they want, the hundreds of millions of Christians in Africa are denied the right that she wants to protect. The brown Christians in South America are denied the rights that she wants to protect. And that's not diversity. What we protect on our side is diversity, right? No matter who you are, you can have a connection with Jesus. No matter where you're born, you can feel that Jesus is similar to you, and you can understand his teachings implicitly because there is at least the official depiction of Jesus is not totally different than you, right? He's not from a place you've never been, from a people that you've never met, right? He might look similar to you, he might look similar to people around you. At least there's not one fixed identity for Jesus that excludes you from having the rights that she wanted to protect. Go ahead.
So, affiliating yourself with Jesus is so much important. Why can you deny the white people's right to affiliate themselves with Jesus?
We don't. We can have white Jesuses. We just don't say that Jesus was white. In Europe, if I walk into a church and go, what I would like to see is a white Jesus over here, a black Jesus over here, an Asian Jesus over here, and some other crazy Jesus over here. Right? No matter what, I want the freedom to be able to identify with this person who is the leader of my spiritual life. Right? If religious identity is so important to me, we think that it's important that I have the same ability to connect with that religious figure as anyone else. We don't think it should be unequal. We don't think that Europeans should have a better ability to identify with Christ than Africans or than South Americans, given that they are all Christians, and that they all should have a similar dedication, belief, and meaning coming from this religious symbol. That's what we want to protect on our side of the house. So what am I going to bring today? I'm going to expand on Yuki's points. Go ahead, I'll take another one.
So having multiple Jesus totally goes against the beliefs of the Christian people, don't you think so?
No, because Christian people, as I said, believe in caring for your neighbor, that Jesus was the Son of God, that we should protect the poor, that we should protect the weak, and that we should be generous to our neighbors, right? We don't think that racial identity is endemic to Christian belief. As Yuki told you, right? Racial identity of Buddha is not endemic to Buddhism. Depictions of Muhammad is not endemic to Islam. Muslim people are not even allowed to depict Muhammad, right? So they don't know what he looks like, right? So clearly, the racial or physical characteristics of Jesus cannot be endemic to Christianity as a faith, right? That's the point. So what I'm going to tell you is that furthermore, this will improve the functionings and inclusivity of the Catholic Church and other Christian organizations, okay? How is this going to happen? What we say is that the Pope is seen as the vicar of Christ, right? He's seen as Christ's representative on earth. But I think it's very problematic in this case when Jesus is seen as a white person because it creates a structural bias within the Catholic Church to select white popes and to favor white cardinals, right? What we think is that this structurally excludes the millions and millions and millions of black Christians, millions and millions and millions of brown Christians, and millions of Asian Christians across the globe from the decision-making process in the Catholic Church. That's why we have less black cardinals than the proportional number of black people, less brown cardinals than the proportional number of brown people, and less Asian cardinals than the proportional number of Asian people. That's why most cardinals within the conclave of cardinals are old white Christian men, right? What we think is when we change the depiction of Jesus, we can make the conclave of cardinals more receptive to having a diversity of cardinals within their conclave. Now, why is this good? Because this will lead to fairer decision making on the part of the Catholic Church relative to their believers in Africa, in South America, and in Asia. What do I mean by this? We mean that when you're an old white man, you do not understand the needs of your flock in Africa, or the needs of your flock in South America. You may rarely go there. You may only tend to your flock in Europe, right? And this means that you don't understand their needs. That's why the Catholic Church doesn't understand the AIDS epidemic in Africa. They just will not get it into their heads that this is something that they need to stop and this is something that they need to care about. And the reason is because they do not accept enough cardinals from Africa. And we think if we change the racial identity of Jesus, if we change the way the symbolism of Jesus is seen within that conclave of cardinals, we are far more likely to get a higher number of cardinals from Africa. We are far more likely to get a large diversity of cardinals from the state. I'll take another one.
So is it okay for Jewish people to call it as they are selected one and pursue Zionism, like Zionism?
Is it okay for Jews to be Zionist? I guess. I mean, probably. I don't know what that point is getting at, right? What we say is that, if you are... I'm not even going to answer. It doesn't make sense. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So, what have we told you, right? Yuki brought you 3 excellent analyses. One, about how this will increase participation in Christianity, how this will stop racist narratives from being as intense, and how this will fight the colonial narrative that you were conquered by someone who is divinely superior to you because your God shares their race. They try to tell you that we want to correct diversity, but their diversity is only allowing white men to identify with their God. Our diversity is allowing anyone to identify with Christ, to have that meaningful relationship with Him. Furthermore, we tell you that this will change decision-making processes. In the Catholic Church, what do you think? This analysis also applies to other Christian organizations that have a similar structure, to let more leaders and more cardinals in from systematically disadvantaged parts of the world where Christians live because of this structural bias that has existed. And decision-making, more responsive decision-making, and a more inclusive faith for everyone. For all those reasons, we are very, very proud to propose that.